I'm hearing the illusion has been broken. The veils have lifted. It was a veil that was very thick, heavy, right? I'm getting this energy of kind of, they weren't in control of their own energy, if that makes sense. I'm hearing kind of emotional manipulation, or even just like lust-filled forward movements being driven by that energy. Like, it's like their sacral power, their sacral energy, it was either given away from a very young age, or it was taken from them from a very young age. So it's never been their entire kind of in their entire control, right? That's that Kundalini energy. Well, that's at the base, but it's kind of like it's just been stuck there in the sacral for very long. And I'm just seeing this. It's like they thought, currently in their life, they thought that the flame had gone out, but it's like it's just reigniting now suddenly. And there's something about this, it's kind of recently happened, or it's coming, it's like gathering kind of momentum. Yeah, got the Fool. They're ready, or they're becoming ready for this new beginning. They're releasing the baggage of the past. That's what it feels like. It feels like every which way that energy was being pulled on and it was taken from them. They're seeing through the illusions. They're seeing who and what was actually just fueling kind of, I've heard fueling their demons, right? So just kind of keeping them at this version of themselves that is all the way in the past. Yeah, it's not who they've wanted to become, nor is it who they are supposed to be. Double confirmation, the Death card, the Fool and the Death card. I feel like they're coming out of this transformation and they're feeling much more lighter. It's like their load has lightened. So, you know, when that veil lifts, it feels like it's like clarity is approaching and they're kind of on the verge of this. But right about now, it's kind of like the skeletons have been coming up, unearthing, so they can truly see them for what they are now. And it's like they are the Grim Reaper and they're ready to kind of just, that's it, done. Yeah, like really put an end to things in a sense of kind of healthily releasing it and letting it go. Now clearing that space, that energy, reclaiming their energy back to them. Really profound. Feels like a big turning point for this energy. It's been a while. I think they've had to go through a lot of kind of heavy cycles to see themselves, to become themselves. 8 of Pentacles. They've been putting in the work though. This has been intentional. This is intentional healing, right? So they've clearly been driven to do that. The Star energy as well. I feel like there's something about, there's been some kind of influence around them. Just like I'm healing, like, hearing a guiding or healing light around them. It's kind of like this, they've been allowing this healing energy to pour onto them in a way. Oh, Queen of Wands at the bottom of the deck, just as I said that. Okay, so let's see. It's like they don't want to be in illusion anymore. They've realized that that's what it is. It's, you know, other people have been, I even feel like they might have been taken, you know, either used for just money, just some kind of gain from others, and whether other people realize this is what they were doing or not isn't the point. This is another big thing actually, they've finally realized where they have been the common denominator in all of these situations, right? So it's them who's been allowing these situations to unfold, right? Understandably, when your subconscious is taking over, you're acting in trauma, you're just acting it out, right? It's going on repeats in cycle, but they're finally recognizing this now, whatever it is that's helped them to see through clearly the veils. 8 of Wands at the bottom, well, that has just come out. Something about that's giving, it's like they have a really clear picture of where they want to go towards, who they want to go towards, and what that picture looks like. It looks like a happy sunny day. That's the only way I can describe it. That must resonate with somebody. You know, they're feeling carefree, young-hearted, young-spirited, you know. So it's kind of like where they're coming from, this death energy. I mean, you know, this is serious. Like, I think the full moon energies are playing out here massively. So this is someone who's connected to those energies. Too many cards. So yeah, I think that they're thinking about some kind of communication moving forward is what I'm hearing here. Okay, so we've got, yeah, the 4 of Cups, But with this new beginning, it's actually a new beginning from their heart space, the Ace of Cups here. So it's kind of like before, perhaps they haven't even been able to reach their heart space because, like I say, the energy's been stuck in that sacral. And now it's kind of like as they're clearing through it and it's channeling upwards, like they're clearing through it upwards, right? And so now it's kind of, they're seeing their worth more past this Seven of Swords. And that's come out with their Death card. That's it. End of the betrayals. Self-betrayal, self-sabotage. 10 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. I feel like for a while they've been sitting in this shame energy, which has prevented them from ending this previous cycle. I think that they've caused hurt, but they've been hurt, and they've allowed themselves to just sit in that, right? And then as a result, they've ended up through kind of self-fulfilling vicious cycles, right? Even though I feel like there's been a lot of divine intervention here, they've had a lot of like ego deaths as well they've experienced. I think that actually the part of them entered revenge mode at some point is what I'm hearing. I don't know, but I feel like they might have had kind of almost like a near-death experience or something, and they've already understood kind of the precious life that you have, that one life, that time that you have, and that's really sticking out to them right now. Time. I think that they felt like they've wasted time, if that's the right word, but they haven't wasted time. They've had to go through this soul journey. They've been healing through so much. This was part of their journey. This is just another conditional programming in their mind about kind of, having this done, having that done. Actually, because of the way this person, this individual, this energy has been healing, they're going to be more ready than ever for what's coming. They wouldn't have been before. I don't know, I just feel like they need to not hold that shame. Be proud. I was about to swear. It's really intense. Be proud of yourself. Truly. This star card particularly, she's pouring out some beautiful kind of almost like nectar onto him. And I feel like, it's giving the energy of that sacral chakra that I mentioned that's coming through heavy. Because that is ruled by the water element, right? It's kind of like it's flowing again. So we've got the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck here, okay? This is somebody who could be readjusting their routines, okay? Morning routines specifically. The more this energy is kind of transmuting that stuckness in the sacral and traveling upwards, realizing their worth and so on, and entering that heart space and really pouring into it, the more they're kind of being fueled for this new beginning, right? Which seems very much on the horizon. It's like they have to take a leap of faith towards something. The sun. This is that sunny day. I'm sure I mentioned a sunny day or something. Yeah, that's that. That's what they're working on. They're working on being that energy, but they're also working on creating that in their existence. So it's kind of like they want this for their reality, but not just for a moment, for just moving forwards now, right? So it's kind of like they're in a connection, yes, but also kind of in their life. They just want to feel, I just feel like this energy of just wanting to be free and liberated from everything they've been going through, which is what they're working on now. They're healing from this kind of Queen of Swords energy, which to me is giving, yes, they're learning boundaries, very important, but I also feel like there's, with that nail in the hearts, there's an energy here that they've been healing from. I instantly heard karmic energy, okay, very guarded, wounded feminine coming through. Gender's not relevant to energy here, okay. Somebody who's kind of like had them in a hold on them, holding them to a certain, it could be a mother, holding them to a certain kind of picture, an image of self, which is what they was projected onto them, and they then had like kind of portrayed that onto themselves as well, right, without even realizing it was happening in the background. And they have a lot of regret over this because they made decisions that were the Emperor at the bottom of the deck as well here. The Emperor, okay, so could very well be a kind of that reclamation of that masculine energy within, right? When you're really trying, you're starting to kind of, take actions that's aligned with your truth, with your heart space, right? But I do feel like they've been having a lot of mental blocks, because I feel like I'm getting some mental blocks suddenly when this is coming through. So it's kind of like they're trying to understand things, but they're clearing through. And the way they're doing that is by releasing certain pent-up emotions, regret over the past, the way things have gone versus where they haven't and they could have, right? Okay. There's that 10 of Pentacles. Definitely abundant energy. Really beautiful. Kind of like wanting for nothing. This is what they want in their life. This is kind of what they've dreamt of and they thought they had for a moment, but it's kind of like, it's just, I'm seeing like draining away, you know? like water down a drain kind of thing. A lot of emotion has been in the mix recently, I can see. Which just makes sense because the sacral, again, is about that emotional energetic center, right? So the hips, remember, store your emotions, yeah? Open your hips to release your emotions. The Hierophant, healthily, may I add. This is high level commitment. This is somebody really stepping into their worth here in the physical reality, very divine masculine energy, this as well, okay? And really realizing that actually what they want, it's in their soul alignment. It's actually part of what they're here to do. And it's kind of like they're suddenly becoming this person who people go to. I think they've always been that to a degree, but now it's kind of they're really taking this seriously, right? They're beginning to understand why they've been in that position so many times, especially towards feminine energies, which is interesting. And now that they're operating more from their heart space instead of that lust that I first mentioned, they're seeing things differently. They're understanding where they're here to show people the way and not kind of allow this unhealed energy to just use and abuse, these cycles of use and abuse playing out. What I'm trying to say is it's been consensual, however, it's kind of not the real reason they're here. Oh my gosh, and look who's just come out, the Empress. Interesting. They've massively betrayed their inner divine feminine energy, that's for sure. That is for sure. But I also feel like this could be the divine feminine energy now healing through those cycles of betrayal too, and putting an end to that and transmuting. Because don't forget that dark divine feminine is really transmuting, transformation, right? She's the one who kind of creates and births into existence from the dark space, right? That's how you walk through those fires to rise as this beautiful kind of that butterfly, right? Got the Ace of Wands here. Really, this is giving a lot of, like, with the sun, that's like really fiery energy kind of within you. And I think that could be the solar plexus that's being worked on, that fiery kind of self-worth that allows you to really take that inspired action, right? Then you've got the Devil card come out. That's come out with the Star and the Queen of Swords. So it's confirmation that this is some kind of attachment or addiction that truly somebody has been healing through. I'm hearing maybe codependency there as well. Just someone's been allowed to act from a lesser version of themselves, right? It's kind of like they're wearing a line. I'm seeing lust driven massively. Unfortunately, it's part of their journey, but it's kind of like that's how people can really manipulate you sometimes if they've got that energy. But it's the extent to which you allow them to, which you haven't got that control over yourself, and in a healthy way, right? Not in a way where you can then abuse others. No, but in a way that you can actually really self-discipline, right? Staying in your alignment, not allowing anyone to feed off you or pull on you in that way, shape or form. You know what I mean? So I think someone really hasn't understood that. They've really not taken it seriously because it's just been like almost like a comfort or something, just making them feel better when it wasn't actually, because they were just staying lower as a lower version of self, if you will. 9 of Cups, so this is what they're moving towards. They're understanding their regrets are the fact that they had this in their hands, whatever this 9 of Cups is, with this 8 of Wands, they had it was coming towards them, and they let it go. They let it slip through their fingers is what I'm seeing. I'm also seeing kind of a regretful kind of return. It's very easy in society to blame everyone and everything outside of you for, being the way you are, making a decision you are. But ultimately, you're meant to see through that. You're meant to step back and say, hold on a second. I'm the one making these decisions. I'm the one choosing these things, right? So it's up to me now to change that. And that's kind of what's happening. This somebody who's realizing this, the more they're unraveling, especially with this karmic energy, these addictions that they've just been holding onto. I do feel like they've been healing through this, though, I will say. Why? Because I have a lot of regret. Again, it's that kind of wasted time or something. Again, that shame's coming through as well. 4 of Pentacles. Ooh, and the Tower. They've had to have some serious shake-ups, I think that they were so stuck on this idea of kind of that ideal how things should be, and never making a decision towards where, they know their soul was being guided, right? Where this first row, where their heart has been calling them this entire time. I think that they're very much they've been sitting in regret, and this is kind of the veil that's lifting now. They're understanding things better, but it has not come easy. They've had serious kind of a shock revelation. Maybe they even lost kind of stable foundation, whether it's a business or home or whatever it is, something that they're just keeping them stuck. they were holding onto so tightly, they were grasping onto. But it was just preventing them from really reaching that absolute abundance on the other end. They were just in stuck mode, in hangman mode, right? So they needed this kind of revelation. I don't think it's the first time they've had divine intervention in this way, okay? But because of the cycles they've been going through, it's kind of like slowly but surely they've been shifting. Things have been changing and they're seeing things more clearly now, okay? Cycle by cycle, layer by layer, remember? I think this is why it's important for them not to think about kind of time so much. Judgment and the King of Pentacles. They're realising how they've been acting, especially when it comes to connections. Yeah, somebody who likes things their way and, you know, they want to have power and control is what I'm hearing. But in a way that's not been healthy. In a way that's just been so detached from their heart space is what I'm hearing here, okay? So, and that's probably why they've been just calling in addictions and addictive people. And when I say addictive people, people who they can kind of cycle through addictions with, okay? This is what they're overcoming. 7 of Wands, they're just at the bottom of the deck. Confirmation, this is kind of karmic cycles that they're really overcoming now. Yeah, they need to make a decision and they're understanding that it's their decision to make, right? There's something here about finally stepping into that kind of version of self where they're feeling more stable within themselves. So they've clearly been working on their root chakra, finding balance for that 6 of Pentacles. Bringing balance to a situation, to themselves. I think their finances as well, which has been a really big deal for this energy. And now as a result, we have the King of Cups. So this is where they're finally able to see things from a more emotionally stable place, right? Therefore accessing that heart center in such a way where they can also now approach who is on the bottom of the deck, the Queen of Cups. They want to be balanced internally and outside of them. I'm seeing finance is a big deal for this energy. To come towards this new beginning here that's very present. I honestly am seeing higher level of commitment. And to them, this feels like marriage. You know, if they align with that, that's what this is, what's coming through. That kind of level at least. It's just whatever this is, they are healing through it. I just feel like it's been so stuck for so long. It's almost frustrating is what I'm hearing. But then it's been, you know, their choices. I think they just have a lot of regret. I think someone really has had a hold on them, and I don't think it's just one person. I think it's been multiple. It could very well be an ex and a mother or something like this, okay? It's just that wounded feminine outside of them, which is why they weren't acting from a healed, divine self, okay? This is what they're understanding. Look at that. Deception. The masks have been real. They've been betrayed, but they've also been the betrayer, if you will. Forgiving and learning. I think they're having to go through that energy. Forgiving others. Forgiving themselves. They also need to recognize that they need to be their authentic self to be in that divine self energy, right? So they want to remove these masks that they've been operating in. You know, true love could very be a divine connection, and we've got the King and Queen of Cups here, really emotionally stable, mature energy connection, right? True love, do love that card. So it's kind of like they've run away from true love, from their heart space for so long. By allowing themselves to stay in that space, they're optimistic about your love life. Absolutely, especially when you're going through cycles like this, it's easy to kind of, you know, let the negativity come through and drown you in that kind of darker noise. But that's where you've got to hold so much more strength in your light to recognize it, not from a false place, but from a place of, hold on, I know I've been overcoming this. How can I remember those tools, those ways, you know? It's constant evolution, especially with that death card. There's been so many masks being removed, egos, right? Okay, keep an open mind. Engagement, that's what I was seeing. Engagement, it could very well be an actual engagement coming through, but definitely higher levels. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Be mindful of who and what is still trying to pull on your energy, but also be mindful of where you are creating red flags and your own red flags, how you start operating from that energy, and keeping, like, I'm hearing like gaps and doors open for that to even filter through in any way, shape or form, to be pulled back down. And also just like negativity in general about kind of this, you know, you've got this true love energy and stay optimistic, just keep an open mind, but then this pay attention to the red flags. It's like, but how are you working against yourself with that? Okay. Unrequited love. So where are you placing your attention and your energy that isn't even, it's not reciprocated, but it's not even love. It's, again, I'm feeling the energy of lust or just kind of obligation as well, kind of guilt, codependency at the bottom of the deck. Something about addictions is real. I think somebody has expectations of themselves to such a degree that they just constantly feel like they're falling short. And it just keeps pulling themselves back when actually this is their journey. They're the one who has it within them to not just be living up to this ideal self, but to be realistic and step into the self that you are here, in the best self you can be in the moment. So stop making those decisions, right? Let's see what else we've got. Release your ex. That is still happening. That is still happening. And that's that kind of where that betrayal energy, where the love wasn't reciprocated. But then again, you know, when you want to, if you want to go into a divine connection, you need to know your worth, because your divine person isn't going to accept a version of you that is still hung up on a past energy who didn't see your worth. Do you know what I mean? You need to be so in your power that you can say, if you don't want me, then I know my worth. I know where I belong. I can, in fact, I want to release that and let that go, because why would I want to hold on to that, right? Codependency, again, at the bottom of the deck, it's inner child. There's also something else coming through about how much are you holding on to somebody else's exes, right? And how much maybe they made you feel like a second choice or an afterthought in that energy. Kind of like seeing things from a bigger picture, stepping back. But also there's something else coming through about just because it doesn't look like you expected it to look like, the unfold, the love, etc., doesn't mean it's not the true thing. In fact, divine often sends through something so much better than what your imagination, your conditioning, your programming has taught you it should be, right? Finance and career confirmation. There's something about finances here that somebody truly is working on, but they've also had to kind of reclaim their power on, is what I'm hearing. It's kind of like, especially with that X energy, it feels like it really was kind of, they could have been used for their money, truly. So this is another thing that might have caused certain expectations in their mind now. They think, oh, someone shouldn't be like this or that. Actually, just because somebody else had certain qualities and they ended up being the way they are, doesn't mean that everybody is like that just because they have similar qualities. Okay, really important. A time to give rather than take, that giving energy. Okay, confidence is your key to success. Really important. We've got Virgo and Leo cards here, so summertime. Okay. Okay, confidence. I think, you know, the more that you can be in that self kind of confidence, which is knowing your worth, not an arrogant ego place, but knowing your worth from your heart's courage, right? The more you can actually be in that giving energy, because you know that you're not overgiving. You're just operating from love, and if that's taken away or used or whatever, then that's on somebody else. You are operating from your heart space anyway, truthfully, okay? The answers you need are coming. I did mention something about a conversation. Someone's regretting a conversation that they want to bring into their reality. There's something about that will be kind of a wish fulfillment, should they get that, right? This is what they want to do. A new romantic cycle begins. Libra energy. Adjustments are required. So I think they're realizing that now. In order to get that, what they desire, there's adjustments within that are required. And around, conclusions are within reach. So this is that thing that whatever that is that's ending, that constant betraying, that inner divine feminine energy, that's what's kind of clearing through. Someone's understanding themselves better, especially their giving nature. It's kind of like you can't give with expectations, but also kind of not overgiving as well. Your hard work is paying off. Confirmation, again, that's to do with the finances, I think. But also that inner work, it's going to pay off now where this is headed, okay? It's kind of like there's balance coming, but whatever pulls are still on the energy. It's not just about kind of, I think that's been going on for a while, it feels like. You have to be the one who really removes your own masks to finally say no more from others outside of you, okay? It's time to take action. Hold your vision. So if you've been waiting for answers from somebody or some kind of confirmation, conversation, then they're coming. But it's kind of like you require a certain, I'm hearing like an environment, so a certain version of somebody to come through. No masks. And this is what's being worked on. Right? Clearing through anything that's preventing them from staying in a smaller place. So like, again, gaining that courage, focus on divine and perfect health, eternal love. So I think it is important for you to understand making decisions from that more healthy space, healthier choices, if that makes sense. This situation is already resolved. So if you're stressing about something, don't worry about it. It's being healed, it's being released, truly. And it's kind of like that giving energy of allowing someone that space whilst you hold the vision and keep working on you. I think it could be, again, finances. Holding that space in your heart to welcome this in. Your children are watched over by angels. You could have a spirit baby present. Okay, your home is being protected by angels. Something about angelic protection is really important right now. The more that you're in that kind of healthy space, the more you can truly show up for yourself and for your path, which is your purpose, right? Take your time making this decision. Prayer will help this situation, okay? Whatever's going on, keep your eyes on the targeted intention, okay? Let's just see if there's anything else. I think that there's just this, it's kind of like as you're going through the closing and the lifting of these veils and the illusion is being removed, it's just taking care of yourself and understanding, trying to see things from a place where you've been protected this entire time. Now moving forwards, there's a situation that, go forward fearlessly, there's a situation that's already been resolved, right? But there's going to be a need to take time when you decide on how to keep moving forwards in this direction, if that makes sense, and ask for that beautiful divine guidance as you do this, okay? There's something here as well about the guidance, at least, anyway, you can do as you want. The guidance is saying not to just go back to an old way of being, thinking, an addiction, a person, just because things don't feel like they're going in the way you think they should be or the way you've envisioned, right? It's unfolding the way it needs to, and this is an energy who truly is overcoming so much right now. And it's actually, this is the moment where you need to release all these things within you that are red flags. You know, the energies that pull on you, that bring this behavior and this version of you outside of you. How much hold do they have on you still, right? And how much does this energy within itself still show up? How much is this version of you still present, right? To really recognize that so you can ascend into higher levels of this beautiful new romantic cycle that wants to come through without holding anything against yourself, but also each other, I think is important here. Which is, again, the reason why it's kind of like, this is already resolved, right? But take your time right now to understand yourself through this instead of just trying to go from 0 to 100, yeah? And be that authentic self as this energy that's closing out really truly is released now and closed out. It's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens in cycles and layers, right? So you don't have to be some kind of perfect version of self as this new romantic cycle begins, but it's really about being truthful and honest with yourself and operating from the heart space, especially when there's communication. It doesn't mean that you have to expect there to be like, you know, sudden celebrations. It's kind of like allowing that communication also to unfold in the way it needs to, right? Allowing the space for that. So you can really create, again, without going 0 to 100, but truly staying in your heart space and having faith. Okay, again, ask for that divine guidance too, okay? Pay attention when it comes. It does feel like there's a feminine energy, divine feminine, whether it's your inner divine feminine energy or someone outside of you who feels very betrayed. I'm not sure if somebody realizes this, but I think it's becoming more and more like conscious to them. And it's kind of like giving that energy time to process everything, especially if this is two people coming together. It's kind of like, yes, stay in that heart space, but don't expect the past to repeat just because somebody is needing that time and space, right? Just allow kind of things to happen in the way that maybe you didn't expect, right? It doesn't mean that it's going to be the same as the past where there was an ex who didn't reciprocate that love or anything like this. There's a need for patience here, truly. And there's also a need for that masculine energy to really release the need for control again, whether it's within you, outside of you, not to control the situation, but trust in divine, especially as you receive that guidance, okay? There's something else coming through as well about kind of like a spell or something. Now, I always say just everyone each to their own, okay? But my guidance here usually is just focus on your connection with divine and strengthening that, okay? But it could be, there could be somebody who felt like there was a spell on them or something, or maybe something was happening in the background, I don't know, but that is being broken finally. It's like the light is finally coming through. Divine has finally found room to enter the scene, right? Someone's really focusing on that. There's also this energy of kind of being guided with the finances here, okay? So if you need that, kind of feel like you need that guidance and that protection with your finances, connect to the angels and to divine, okay? That's the guidance here. Let me know if this reading was for you. Sending so much love.